All right. I'm not going to wait for too many people to get on, so most of you will see this later. I just want to give a quick, exciting update, something I couldn't wait to share. First of all, I'm doing well. I did my last treatment, or started my last treatment yesterday. Most of y'all know that the pump comes home with me for somewhere between 42 to 48 hours, and I go back on Saturday. So I'll be returning back to the clinic tomorrow morning around 10 for them to disconnect the pump, and that'll be my last chemotherapy treatment. From there, I'll have scans at the end of the month, and then go back to my surgeon for consultation to see how he wants to proceed. So again, thank you for your prayers. Yesterday was treatment 6 of 6. Holding up okay, although I have been honest that it's been physically challenging. But I have some exciting news that I couldn't wait to share. So this update is not necessarily about me. I'll do a different update about that. Keep you up on what the next steps are. So this update is for our Tri-Cities Church family and friends. When I say family, that means even those that have been watching us online all across the country, those who continue to support our ministry, and then those who live in the Tri-Cities area, East Point, College Park, Hateville, and others who join our family. You know, when I've been the pastor of Tri-Cities Church, or lead pastor, for a little over 2 years now. And one of the things that really drew my attention and my heart to Tri-Cities as we were being considered for the lead pastor role was its value of generosity. And so, quite as it's kept, when you all were checking me out, I was checking you out. And one of the things that really impressed me was this thing that I saw you do called Big Give. And that year, I think it was 2019 or 2018, maybe. I can't remember. I looked at what you guys did, and it was so impressive to me for a church that size to every year raise a tremendous amount of money and then give it all away. So that really drew my heart to Tri-Cities Church, because one of the principles that I try to live by is, heart follows treasure. And so wherever you place your treasure, your heart will be. And that just showed me that this little church in East Point had a huge heart for their community and raised money every year and gave it all away. So I share that to say that many of you have been wondering about last year's Big Give, which is 2020. And so if you remember, we raised money. Our goal was $30,000, which was very ambitious considering that we're in the middle of a pandemic. Many people had lost their jobs or had to take pay cuts because of what's going on. So for a church our size, 30,000 was a big number for a year of a pandemic. Keep in mind the year before that, we raised 32,000, which was 10,000 over our goal. And so Tri-Cities Church has always been generous. So we shot for 30,000. So many of you know, let me remind you what the number was. At the end of our Big Give, which we start in November, we have one Sunday where we raise a huge offering. And then we allow that to stay open for people who want to give online all the way through the end of December. But on that Sunday, we raise a huge offering. So our total for Big Give last year was $27,902.31. So we were just under our 30,000 goal, which was still tremendous for a pandemic year. You guys continue to step up, continue to be generous, even in the face of some of your own challenges, and that has always been impressive to me for a church our size. So again, that Big Give total was $27,902.31. So you remember we were doing two things with that Big Give offering. One was we were going to replenish our food program because we had taken on extra families during the pandemic, and we're still doing that. And so in addition to the food co-op that we do that served about 30 or 40 families, most of those rotate every other week. We took on about another 50 plus families that made a total of about 100, close to 100 people that we were serving every week during the pandemic, which has been beautiful to see. And we're still doing that. We switched the day from Sunday to Saturday because we were back in service and we're back doing things with the kids, and we needed the space on Sunday to serve them. But shout out to all the people who have been serving the past year, serving food to our community. We continue to get notes of thanks for us as a church stepping up and serving our community in that way. And we serve them good food. I've been down there. I've seen what we pack, and we make sure that they get somewhere about 2 weeks worth of good food, including fresh meat. And it's been a blessing to those to help supplement, because for those in the pandemic who've already been struggling with food insecurity, it has helped them to not be able to have to make the critical decision of paying rent or feeding their children. And so we always get people who are thankful for that. So shout out to that team who purchases, who unloads, who packs the boxes, who distributes on Sunday. So remember that part of the money that we raised for Big Give was to supplement that, because we took on a little bit extra outside of our budget, but we knew that you would step up. But the large portion of our Big Give was going to go to an organization called RIP Medical Debt, which essentially takes medical debt of people whose debt is in collection, and those persons are somewhere at or around the poverty line and have outstanding medical debt, which we know leads to all sorts of complications, bankruptcy, other things that really can cripple families and their finances, even if they're trying to do the best that they can. And what RIP Medical Debt does is to take that debt to the collectors to negotiate and buy down the debt for pennies on the dollar and purchase the debt based on the donations from churches like ours. So we're excited about partnering with RIP Medical Debt. And so the ratio was about, I think it's 1 to 100 or 1 to 10. I can't exactly remember, but here's what I do know. We took about 2,000 of the 27,000, put it into our food program to help finance it for several more months, because we are getting that food from the food bank, and we get it for cents on the pound. So about $2,000 was enough to help us to cover the gaps of what we extended ourselves into during the pandemic. And then we cut a check to RIP Medical Debt for $25,000. Now, remember, that's also including our crowdfunding campaign. So that $27,000 included persons who may not have been part of Tri-Cities but saw our crowdfunding campaign online and gave to that. So about $2,000 went to our food bank. The remaining $25,000 went to RIP Medical Debt. So that should have equated to about $2.5 million in debt. Initially, when we got the report, and again, they couldn't drill down just to specific cities any longer, so it was about the county. And the initial report was there's about $30 million of debt in Fulton County, the county where our church is. And we understand that Fulton County is large. While we wanted to target our specific Tri-Cities, we still saw it as an opportunity to be a blessing to our county. So at the time, and that number could have risen, but at the time we got the initial report, it was about $30 million worth of debt in Fulton County. So our goal was to shoot for trying to eliminate 10% of that debt. And again, we fell a little bit short monetarily, but here's the cool thing. This is how God works. And this is how, if you ever question being generous, this will blow your mind. So we got an email from our campaign manager at RIP Medical Debt saying that it's taking a little bit longer to process and to buy down the debt because they were partnering with other churches, and they had an enormous opportunity to pull all that money together. And they were working with debtors to make a large purchase of debt of about $1 billion worth of debt. Now, that's not just for our campaign, but for many campaigns. But what that did is it helped to leverage our money to stretch it even further than what it normally would have gone. And so we said, absolutely take your time as long as we can get the biggest bang for our buck. So that 25,000 normally would have translated to about 2.5 million. But let me show you how God works in our patience. And I know it's been long since you've heard or update, but I got to update this morning. And man, I'm so excited. This even made me start to feel a little bit better, even though I haven't been feeling my best since yesterday. So you ready? Remember I told you 25,000 should have translated to about 2.5 million. which is a little bit under our goal of eliminating 10% of that $30 million of debt in Fulton County. Here's a report that I received this morning. Your $25,000 that you helped to donate towards for Big Give that went to RIP medical debt ended up translating into, check this out, $4,661,828.45, almost double, and it may actually be double of what we could have, of what we were anticipating being able to pay off. So again, that numbers that we were able to pay off debt in Fulton County as Tri-Cities Church ended up being $4,661,828.45. That is incredible. If you ever question the fact that your generosity does not go a long way with God, just know that what should have been $2.5 million ended up being $4.6 million and counting. So proud of you all. So excited about the fact that our small little church in East Point just paid off $4,661,828.45 worth of medical debt, which translated to an average of $1,650.20 worth of debt per family. And that stretched over 2,825 families. So 2,825 families in Fulton County will sometime in the near future or may have already received a letter saying that Tri-Cities Church has paid off your outstanding medical debt. Now remember, these are people who are at or right around the poverty line, and their debt was in collections, and the average debt that they owed was about $1,600, a little bit over $1,600. But 2,825 people in Fulton County will receive